Hey everybody, this is Grace, and you can see the date and the time. Year is 2020, so of course, maybe not of course. But in this video, I'm going to talk about someone who can have behaviors of, not a diagnosis, but behaviors of a narcissist, or somebody with narcissistic personality disorder, but is not diagnosed. And some would call them a covert narcissist. That's kind of like behind the scenes. Not too many people know. Various ways people can call these. And yeah, that's what we'll talk about. Okay, and pardon how I'm doing the video with the pandemic and all. I'm not driving around, and it's too noisy in the house. So, this one, like I said, I'm going to talk about covert narcissistic type behavior. And I'm going to use an example, and I want people to know right off the bat that because I say use an example of this type, that doesn't mean that they all do that, and all of them are like that. And that tends to happen, especially with the one I'm going to use as an example. Okay, some people, notice I said some, they, for so many different reasons, they think in these terms of all or nothing, all or none. If one person does it, then all of them do it, and that's typical of them, when they don't have any evidence to back it up except that somebody told them that. And if somebody told me that all of, say like all doctors, that's not my example, but say all doctors are this or bad or whatever, the person who, that would be a red flag to me. Okay, something's wrong with the person who told me that. Now, it could be that they just had a bad experience with a doctor or two, and therefore they think all of them are because of that. That's still wrong. It's not true. Okay, but if they then said, I can help you with your problem, let me teach you some other way to handle whatever is ailing you. Big, huge red flag. Okay, that's one flashing neon lights along with it. Some people don't, they're a little naive, or they're just ignorant, or they just have always heard people speak in all or nothing terms, and they take it as though it would turn out to them. They'd have the same kind of experience, and they say, oh, well, somebody said that, so therefore it's true. But it's not. Okay, so it's not. I want to make that point. For probably around 5 years now, I have been making videos about narcissistic people, toxic people, not diagnosed with any of them unless they were actually diagnosed. I don't know anybody who's been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder or borderline. I do know people who have been diagnosed with borderline, but not with histrionic or antisocial. Actually, I knew one that was diagnosed. Well, anyway, those are the cluster B personality disorders. So, anyway, in this, the behaviors of these people can be from more than one, okay, of the cluster B. And some of them, I would, a lot of people just say narcissistic to kind of sum it all up. Yeah. In this one, I'm just going to say narcissistic behaviors. And the example I'm going to use, like I said, it's not just because I use this as an example, or just because you've heard somebody say this, that doesn't make that all of them do it. Now, I've over these years, 5 years, I've read quite a lot and watched some videos. I usually don't watch the videos anymore at all, really. Very, very seldom. And I've read and heard, I'll just say it, heard. A lot of people say really, truly badmouth counselors. Okay. Now, I know that there's quite a bit of a wave of, let's not pay attention to the true scientists. No. The conspiracy theorists and all that, no. Okay, when you need real help with a problem, you need a professional. You need somebody who's earned it through a university, college, whatever it is. Not just someone say, I've lived through it and therefore I know everything. or they just say they know everything, or a lot of them say they want to be that they are life coaches. Okay, now there are some life coaches, so I've heard that it's not a one size fits all. It's not all of them that are pretty good, but some will badmouth actual counselors. That would be waving red flag to me. So they can say, but I can help you. So there's a financial gain for them, some kind of gain for them to tell you that. Okay, so again, I'm going to use counselors as an example, but not all of them do this. And I would say very few. Okay, I'm going to move on with it. Just say you have been abused by someone with narcissistic behaviors, and you've read up on it and listened on it, and so you want to find a counselor. Now, I can't tell anybody what kind of counselor to get, but me, like if it was a domestic kind of situation, at your home or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever is the case, I would look for some people say that they can't find any counselors that deal with narcissistic abuse. Well, in this situation, I would say domestic abuse counselor. Okay. Now, you might not like that counselor when you go and see them. You may feel that they've given you homework to do, and you don't like the homework. Okay, that's you. That's on you. Because many counselors do. They give you something to read, to books, or something to, ask you to write this, to do this, or whatever. That's not crazy. They don't want you to write a novel, but they ask you to do that for yourself, to put together your thoughts, or to read something, to learn something, to understand it better before the next, your next time to go there. Some people, they see that right then and right there. They say, no, that counselor's bad because the counselor's not doing all the work. I have to do the work. No. Okay. You're in a relationship practically, here with you and the counselor, and it's give and take. Okay. And some people will look at that different, but the counselor is helping you, okay, to move on, or to whatever it is. Now, counselors don't always give advice, say, you need to do this, do that, and, when you talk to them, do that, and when you talk to them, say that. No, not that kind of thing. But they'll help to guide you. Many of them would, but I'm getting there. Okay. And some people will see a counselor, and the counselor is, confident, because to be a counselor, at least here, I don't know about where you are, you have to go through a lot. Okay, you not only earn the degree or degrees, okay, plural, plural, it's not just one. It's not any place I know. But in order to become a counselor, that's not where it ends. It goes on and on. Supervision and practicum, pre-practicum, depending on where the person goes to. And passing, whatever it is, to get that license. And so that person should feel confidence, to express confidence, not actually say, I'm confident, but you will feel it. Now, some people will see that confidence as arrogance, okay, instead of confidence. And it's a difference. Go look them up. I'm not here to describe the difference. But, okay, so what they're doing is they're jumping on that arrogance, for whatever reason. And they're saying, oh, my counselor's a narcissist. Okay, my counselor, because they seem arrogant. Well, first of all, you aren't there to diagnose your counselor, but if your counselor is trying to abuse you, I'd walk away, run, and whatever it is you can do that's safe for you. But no, some people want to say the counselor's arrogant. Could there be, so that lists where this is leading, could there be a counselor, that you run across a counselor who is narcissistic, not diagnosed as narcissistic personality disorder with that, but narcissistic? Yes. Okay. I've run across doctors that they have narcissistic behaviors, doctors, dentists, whatever, but that doesn't mean that they all are like that. Of course there could be some. There can be some in any field, of any kind, whether it's professional or not, or skilled or unskilled. whatever. Okay, certified, not certified. There could be anywhere. And some people would say, well, that they have to go through so much, how do they slip through? Well, some people can slip through many things. But you need to remember, these people are master manipulators. Some of them are. And especially the older they get, the better they are. And if so many things that could have happened in their youth, that they were raised by one who was a master manipulator. You see, and they're really picking up on how to do it, and they can hide it. And you would question, well, why can't, they're around all these people who they're probably counselors, they're this, they're that, how can they not see it? Remember, master manipulators. Anybody can be fooled by them. Anybody, even a counselor, can be fooled by them. They know exactly how to hide it, and when to hide it, where to hide it, and that, some say the mask doesn't often slip when they know what they have to gain from it. You see? Or lose. Yeah. Okay, now, there are so many ways that a narcissistic person can get to become a counselor. And some say, well, what about you would think somebody would have noticed, like starting from the professors. Not really. As an undergraduate, they may have a lot of students, the ones who teach graduate school classes. There are so many reasons. And they can actually, the professor could actually be some rather narcissistic too. Just because I said they can be doesn't mean that most are, doesn't mean that all are. No. And I'm telling you, I've dealt with so many people who want to think that way. If somebody mentions something negative about somebody in whatever field or whatever about a person, then therefore all of them do it. No, I can't say that enough. So anyway, they could get through. When you're in graduate school, in my experience, my degrees are in psychology and sociology, and I taught at college and university. But graduate school, I was a career student, both as an undergraduate and graduate. And the classes were rather small, okay? But it just really depends on what university the person attends. Or, wherever. I don't know what how every country does it. And every state does it in the United States of America. I don't know. So, however they do it, yeah, they can still slip by. If it's so many students, they really are there to teach, and then they don't get too involved with the students, whatever is the case. And then when they go on, they know how to hide this, when to hide it, and all that. So, yes, they can get by. Now, what do you do when you do run across someone who is a counselor and is rather narcissistic? That's a good question. But I have a reason for, reasons, plural, for why I'm talking about this, but I'm going to wind up having to do another separate video about it and combine them together, at least one more, because I can't cover all of it in this. But, yeah, I have run across, I've mainly run across doctors and nurse practitioners, really, that are very narcissistic. And I'm not, to me, it's not them being arrogant and them being confident. It's them being downright arrogant in what they see and how they see it. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. I can't say what, that actually what the doctor, like medicine or something. But I also, if they give me a medication, I talk to a pharmacist about it. Okay, this kind of thing. But anyway, but I have this reason for this, that when I have seen, and actually on video on YouTube, someone who is a counselor, licensed counselor as far as I know. When you state you're a licensed counselor, you better be a licensed counselor, because depending on where you live, you could get a lot of trouble for saying you're a licensed counselor or giving medical advice or whatever. You're saying you're a doctor or something when you're not. Okay. But, and that person, the one that I've run across, is rather narcissistic. Seriously, I've been doing videos about this kind of thing. But there's more to it than that. And it can be more to that. Like I said, you can run across professors who are rather narcissistic. Now, and that can be difficult. Some people would see as arrogance, and therefore they think that they're narcissistic. Just because a person seems arrogant, that doesn't make them. Just because they have one symptom that you are certain they have, that doesn't make them, with the whole disorder, doesn't make them a narcissist, But the behaviors. And some of the professors, I can go down this line, and I think I'll make a separate video on it, is they can be, have a different, behaviors of a different cluster B personality disorder, the symptoms of criteria. They can exhibit rather, That is what I've said so many times for these years, most of these years, is histrionic, behaviors. Their own stage. Yeah. I think I need to make that a separate video. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention in this video, I have made a video, I don't know if I'll put them in order, but about the ones who act superior. Some call it superiority complex, but they're imposters, really, when it comes down to it. I could say that this type of person who is a counselor actually went through everything. Yes, they are a counselor. Yes, they did earn that. But overall, they're imposters because they really don't have that true personality to be a counselor. You see what I'm saying? Well, I should probably wrap this up. My allergies are attacking. But yeah, they just don't have their true personality to be one. Instead they might be looking for next target. They're seeing this as a target or not, and to find their next bit of supply. And people call it supply. I was quite surprised when I heard people calling that kind of thing the narcissist supply. Yeah, I don't really like that term. So, but yeah, somebody to just feed their own ego, somebody that that they will use. They're going to use for their own selfish purposes, and some of them can be, like I said, I would say it's very, very few, but I've seen one. Just because I've seen one doesn't make them all that way. Yeah, now I'm going to tell you, that whole kind of thinking seems to be more popular these days, and I've mentioned this in videos after video, all or nothing, all or none, video after video. But it does seem to be becoming so much more popular. It's not anything new. Yeah, I remember seeing it when I was really young. People who believe that way, that is, if one of them does it, all of them do it. No, it's very so seldom like that. But it worries me. It worries me that, especially when it's somebody young who's hearing, who was raised this way to think like that, and just hasn't been exposed enough to other viewpoints. And usually my experience, especially more recently, is that and I have said this so many times, the loudest mouths are the ones we hope people don't hear. Yeah, I haven't been that way before, but yeah, you don't want to hear. They're usually very popular, and they're usually saying something that's along the line of, they know better than the experts. Okay, and the experts are all wrong and all that. And it's all of them are like that. And none of them do this. And they know because they've experienced it firsthand. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to make a separate video when it comes to professors. So, a different video because of there's something there too. I'll talk to you on another video.